Good day, fellow frequenters of card shows. My name is Brad of White Sox Cardboard, and I am coming to you from an unseasonably chilly Dallas-Fort Worth area where I live. And I just yesterday went to my first card show in something like a quarter century. I mean, I know that my dad took me to card shows when I was maybe 12, 13, 14 years old. As best I can remember, these were more like a few tables set up at the mall than anything like the Dallas card show that I went to yesterday. But I wanted to pop on here and just kind of share my experience as somebody who hasn't been to any card shows in the recent past. Certainly not since, I don't think this century. I don't think that I've been to a card show this century. So this is my first one. So kind of a virgin's view of card shows, card show virgin's view of card shows from this past weekend. So I'll just, first of all, I'll just show, there's not going to be any footage from the card show here. I'm sorry to report there's going to be no card show eye candy here, just this eye candy. I do know that baseball collector Mike has put out a little bit of footage from the card show. I haven't seen any other footage on YouTube yet, which is surprising to me because I saw a lot of people taking footage at the card show. Perhaps more in the TCG community, I'm not sure. But maybe that'll pop up on YouTube here in the coming days. You won't get any here, but I will show you a few pickups and then talk about my impressions of the card show, which overall were definitely positive. All right. So first, I got 3 graded cards. First, it doesn't matter which one I show first, does it? One of the cards I picked up was a 1959 Topps number 252 Ray Boone in PSA 7. This is just a 1959 White Sox card that I need. If you watch my channel, you know that I'm looking to basically pick up any 50s and 60s White Sox cards that I don't have in relatively high grade. SGC or PSA, that doesn't matter very much to me, but I am looking to pick up the entire sort of golden age of cardboard run of the White Sox. So this was just one that I didn't have. I saw it and I made a deal for it. Next one I picked up was the 1965 NL Batting Leaders number 2 featuring Roberto Clemente and Hank Aaron, as well as Rico Cardi in PSA 6. Pretty good looking card. And this is part of my 1965 Topps set. If you watched some of the Season in a Set project episodes that I have on my channel, this was already covered, but I didn't have the card yet. So I was thrilled to pick up this card featuring 2 major Hall of Famers, and it's a pretty good looking example. I feel real good about it. I was happy to get it. And the last graded card that I picked up was a 1971 Topps number 550 Harmon Killebrew. Picked this up. This was actually the very first purchase that I made walking into the card show, and I saw it at maybe the 6th or 7th table that I looked at. The dealer on this one was somebody who said he had collected the cards as a kid, collected the 1971 set as a kid, and had graded and was selling some of his duplicates. So this was one of his duplicates. I don't have a particular need or desire for this card in my collection, but I got it at a decent enough price that I thought I'd pick it up, and it is available for sale. I think it's undergraded at a 6. As you know, with the 1965s, I'm sorry, the 1971s, the borders are often a problem. You really don't see any problem with the borders on this card. The centering left to right isn't great, but it's not as, it could at least be a 7. So this card is available for sale. If anybody is interested, drop me a line at chisoxcardboard@gmail.com and we can talk price. I'm not looking to get rich off of it. Just flip it for more Harmon Killebrews. So in terms of graded cards at the show, I was looking for anything that seemed like a good value that I could, particularly Hall of Famers. I was looking for White Sox cards like the Boone, and I was looking for 1965 cards. Specifically, I was looking for a 65 Mays. I have flipped my way up to being able to buy a 65 Mays in PSA 6 or SGC 6. So that's on my list of things that I'm looking for. I was also looking for a mantle in the $300 range because I'm trying to flip my way up to a 1965 Topps mantle in PSA 6 or SGC 6, and I'm not there yet. I didn't find any great deals on either of those kind of, at least for me, the higher dollar cards that I was looking for. I saw good deals for sure. Deals that if I wasn't trying to flip for the mantles, I would definitely have jumped on. For the Mays, I only found one 1965 Mays in a PSA or SGC 6, and the dealer wanted a fair price in terms of comps for PSA or SGC 6, but the card itself was kind of on the low end of a 6, and so it was off center and had a small stain near the top, and I wasn't willing to pay average comps for that particular card. If he had come down a little more, I might have purchased it. But overall, I was happy with the opportunities that were out there. These three cards that I did pick up, they all had sticker prices on them, and all of the sticker prices were reasonable. And I didn't pay more than 82%. That was the top one that I paid in terms of being able to strike a deal. So anywhere from between 75 and 82% of sticker price on sticker prices that were already quite reasonable. So my takeaway from the Dallas Card Show is that for cards that people aren't exactly coming in looking to buy, like I don't think anybody came to the Dallas Card Show being like, man, I really need to pick up that 1959 Ray Boone in PSA 7. I don't think that was probably on anybody's, really important list of cards they were looking for when they came to the show. And I would think the same was probably true of 71 Killebrews and 65 League Leader cards. Those just typically are not the types of cards that people go to a card show looking for specifically. And on those cards, I was able to strike some good deals. I was really happy with them. On higher value cards, ones that people might actually be coming to the show to look for, I wasn't able to pick up any great deals, but there were still reasonable prices out there. I mean, it did not feel to me like sellers were gouging buyers, and so I was really pleasantly surprised, I would say. I went with my son, who is 12 years old, going on 13, and he's interested in the collecting that I do. But 4 hours was probably about as much as he was interested in doing on a Saturday. And so after about 4 hours, we called it and came home. I could have spent the whole day there looking for deals, but we had exhausted our time, and it was a really good afternoon with my son. So no complaints in that regard, but I very well may be back to the Dallas Card Show or other card shows in the area, given the positive experience that I had this past weekend. I also picked up 6 raw commons for my 1965 Topps set. I was sifting through one of the boxes that one of the dealers had of 200 or 300 commons, and I chose out some of the best looking ones of cards that I didn't have, and so picked those up in really good condition. I did pick up one. I'm not going to show them all. They'll be shown on my season in a set project in due course. But I did want to highlight one, and that is semi-star, or even a full star, Boog Powell. And on this one, the dealer wanted $5 instead of the $3 that he was asking for the true commons. And I was kind of hemming and hawing. I knew that Boog Powell did go for a premium. I wasn't sure necessarily how much, and I didn't really want to whip out my phone to try and figure out whether whether a $2 markup was an appropriate markup on Boog Powell, because that just seemed a little cheap. But at the same time, I am kind of a stickler for making sure I don't chase bad cards with bad money. But this card looked pretty good, and I knew Boog Powell went for a premium, and so I was actually thinking to myself, I recalled the episode that Jay Average Vintage Collector did on highlighting Boog Powell, and in fact he even highlighted this specific card in a better version of this specific card.
Next card I'm going to show. This is the 1965 Topps in an 8. This is
a little nudge that I needed in order to pick up this Boog Powell, and I would say definitely excellent condition, if not maybe ex-mint. So it fits well in my set. Picked it up for $5, and then when I got back home, I checked the comps on it, and actually that was a good pickup. I think the card typically goes for between $5 and $10 in this grade, and so I got it at a fine price. So thank you to Jay Average Vintage Collector for helping me pull the trigger on that purchase and inspiring me to knock that one off the checklist for the 1965 Topps set. All right, and the last purchases that I made at the show this past weekend were a little bit of unopened wax from my childhood era. I don't really do unopened wax, but I saw these. They were not expensive, and we had a few extra dollars in our pocket, and so I decided to go ahead and make the purchase of a few really, really exciting unopened wax products. So we got 1990 Score, 1990 Bowman, 1989 Bowman, and the crown jewel of my unopened wax purchases from the weekend, 1986 Topps. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with these. If anybody has any opinions, feel free to add them to the chat. I don't have a collection of unopened wax. I could certainly start a small one kind of on the side, but if you have a strong opinion about whether I ought to rip it or whether I ought to hold on to it and see if it appreciates, I'm open to all opinions. The 1986 is going to turn 40 years old here next year, so that's I mean, even though they're still pretty widely available, they are getting fairly old. They can only get more rare. That's for sure. They're not making any more of these unopened wax packs. All right, so that's all of the thoughts, all of the pontifications that I've got from my trip to the Dallas Card Show, my first trip to a card show in at least a quarter century. I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be making card shows a bigger part of my collecting experience, and maybe I'll meet some of you out there in the future. All right, as always, thanks for watching. Collect what you love and flip what you like.